to you by Sheehan's Rustproofing. The Chiefs have just come out on the ice for a warm-up period. They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
Are you a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues radio listener? Of course you are. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call real estate superstar Mike Burgoyne today at 314-753-4060 or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com to earn special rates today.
Cut out the coffee, cut out those energy drinks that make you crash, and put yourself in a position to succeed with an energy boost from rockinthatidlife.com. You'll be energized, focused, and you'll even experience an elevated mood for up to 6 hours. Check out rockinthatidlife.com to learn more.
A team that was in last place on January 3rd. The players on the bench are bouncing up. History will be made tonight in Boston.
You're watching Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast with your hosts Kurt Price, Bill Day, and what appears to be a Peter Dinklage cosplay. So just sit back, grab a beer, and enjoy the best blues hockey talk on YouTube.
Welcome to episode 12 of season 15. This is episode 15 of season 14. This is episode number 493 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated. Just remember, when you control the mail, you control information. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on all the socials is at LGB Radio. I'm Kurt Price, and I'm here with Bill Day. Jeff Bonder is facing allegations, will not be here this evening. I think he's trying to annex Canada right now.
Yeah, and he's probably just going to wind up with Greenland.
I think Canada should be on board with joining the United States. That would mean that they could finally win a World Junior Classic.
Touche, sir. Touche, sir. I mean, after all, Canada is America's largest national park. That's
right. They are the hat of the United States. So,
yeah.
And Mexico is the pants, I guess, right? So, the agenda for tonight's show includes discussion about the up and down St. Louis Blues, the Winter Classic dominating win over the Blackhawks, a weird game against the Blue Jackets, which we'll touch on, and last night's game we'll go into detail against the Wild, which I'm sure pissed off everybody in the world that roots for the Blues.
Oh, me. I was so pissed after that game.
I have a lot to say about last night's game.
Yes.
So most of the show is going to be last night's game because I think that's where we're going to vent. So it's fresh in everyone's mind.
We need it.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, especially for Ken Morris, we're not Canada bashers here.
No, love Canada. Canada.
We're just putting you on. It was a rough week for y'all.
Yeah. All that more on this festive, not festive. This
it's post-festive.
Serious.
We're beyond festive now.
This serious episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. So I just got back home from playing some pickleball, and I ate real quick and put the news on. Of course, there's the wildfires going on in California right now, which is just eating up Los Angeles. So, stay safe out there in California, guys. I know James Woods was on TV with he lost his. Lots of people lost their homes in California, so that is awful. Those Santa Ana winds are just pushing those fires around like crazy.
Yeah, 100 miles an hour, just absolutely nuts.
Yep, that's
and we're sitting here bitching about 7 inches of snow.
Right. Yeah. Is that all you got? Was 7 inches? We got 8. We got 8 over here. The news said Edwards will get 11. And so I was like, oh, 11. That's usually, whatever we get, Everswell gets, but
They were measuring in the drifts.
Yeah. I mean, right. I don't think I measured in a drift. 8 inches. That's it doesn't matter after you get past whatever is good to call off schools and get off work and stuff. That doesn't matter. Like 5 or 6 plus is good. Anything over 5 or 6 is like that's just gravy. So I'll go ahead and mention the Let's Go Blues Radio Minute that is done by Jeff Ponder, 4, 5, 6 minute show, a couple times a week, 2-3 times a week. He does that. So go ahead and subscribe to that if you haven't already. He does a quick little rundown, quick little touches on some highlights a few times a week in a short little podcast. So it's a fun little listen on the way to work or what have you. So check that out. Anywhere you find podcasts.
Yeah, I need to be better about listening to that because for one, I need to make sure that Ponder is doing me right when I win the Puck Doku challenge, and not giving himself credit for every time that he gets the better score than me. So
I think if when he does win, I think the show is a couple minutes longer because he just talks about it nonstop.
Yeah, right.
He just can't stop talking about it. He'll glaze over it when you win.
We had a really good one yesterday. We both scored 0-0.
A goaltender duel, huh?
It was, but neither choice was a goaltender, but both choices were Blues. So it was a player with 100 career assists and 100 career goals. Didn't have to be on a specific team, that particular square. And he went with Wayne Babbage, which I probably would have gone with at another time. But I went with the newest member of that club, Cam Fowler.
Nice.
So,
on the intro, I mentioned this was all-time show number 493. It is 496. So we are 4 shows away from the big 500.
Ooh.
So I don't want to go the opposite direction, away from 500. We work so hard to get to 500.
Right.
But
we should probably do something for that.
We should. We have nothing planned. We'll think of something.
Considering this is the first we've talked about it.
Yeah, I know. More than just in passing, right? So, yeah, I missed the last couple shows, so and you guys did a fine job of that. My schedule's been insane. Just always busy, always doing something.
Always facing them allegations.
Yeah, right. The holidays were busy. It's funny because I'm fortunate enough to work at a place where we get, like, this year we happen to get, the way it fell, we got about 10 days off, right? So it was like, oh, great, get some time off, get some stuff done around the house. Nope, none of that. You think you have all this time, and you just don't. You there's something going on every single day, and I think there was 1 or 2 days where I was like, okay, there's nothing really going on today. And I was just like, I just don't want to do anything. I'm tired. I'm tired of doing stuff. I just want to have a nice, relaxing day. It's my vacation. So I don't want to rip holes in the walls and run Ethernet through up and down the stairs. I don't want to do that. So I'll do that some other time. Official beers of episode number 496. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is CPrice12. Jeff's is JPonder94, and Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. Bill, why don't you? Jeff's facing allegations. You're not.
No.
Sorry about that. It's almost like I'm attacking your character. It's like
right. I keep my nose clean. Damn it.
Right. What do you have? I'm gonna grab mine while you say yours.
All right. I'll take my time since you have to get one. So I've had this before, and I actually meant to grab something different, but I have so many beers in my beer fridge that look the same. I grabbed this. This is the Founders KBS, the double oaked Imperial Stout. So it's aged in a couple different bourbon barrels, and it's pretty damn smooth. This is this year's release for the KBS variant, and yeah, really enjoy it. I found a 4-pack the other night of the chocolate espresso variant that was last year's, and so that's what I was expecting to be drinking, but I grabbed the wrong bottle. So, but as you can tell, I've been enjoying it, and it's almost gone. So
you're is that a snifter? glass?
No. This
What's
is just a glass. And this is my my Canadian breakfast stout glass from Founders.
Yeah.
So,
Very
but
nice.
this could be a segue into our next segment, CBS.
All right. So I
should
got.
have gone second. Damn it.
You should have. Oh well, too late now. Right, let's start over. I will. This one is one that I've been looking forward to trying. I haven't had it yet, and it is from Modern Brewery, and it's Milk Buds, Premium Imperial Chocolate Milk Stout, and it looks like a Prairie Farms chocolate milk container. So I do enjoy the and the. For those of you who don't know, I guess Prairie Farms is not national, right? It's local. So right. Midwest. It's Midwest.
Midwest.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's not like nationwide. You won't find Prairie Farms out in Virginia.
Probably not.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it a go and give it a sip right now. Oh, there's a nice big thick head on it. And this glass, I use this glass a lot. It is this mug, this frosty mug. It is the Beer Drinkers of America mug, and it says Party Smart. This was my grandpa Cerneca's mug. He was a member of the Beer Drinkers of America.
That's a very powerful union back in the day.
Right. No, but I was like, I enjoy a beer. So yeah, it was very cool that I enjoy having this mug. So
And which brewery puts out
Modern? Yep. Modern. Fine brewery, fine local brewery.
I'm gonna have to go track some of that down.
It's good. I actually like it. It's quite good. It's a lot like chocolate milk stout from Four Hands, but it's quite good. At the bottom it says it's utterly delicious.
Wasn't that a Prairie Farms thing? Like one of their slogans?
It's utterly delicious. I don't know.
Yeah, sounds like it. Feels like it.
There's a Prairie Farms office. I don't know if it's a home office or it's a something is down by 55 and 143 by Scott Credit Union over there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's our home office or it's a fairly new building. Last what 5-6 years, something like that.
Yeah,
8 years. So we are in Prairie Farms country. So that's where that comes from. So you want to start talking some hockey, Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It is. Before that, we have to obviously do this.
It's 10 p.m.
I may have to go rescue one of my children. Sheldon has a thing about snow that he tries to eat it all.
Oh,
so
all of it.
So I may have to go get him from the backyard if he doesn't come in soon.
How many cubic yards of snow are in the backyard?
Oh my God. I'm on 3/4 of an acre, so I got a lot.
So he's not gonna. Well, he'll stay hydrated. At least, I guess.
Yeah.
My dog used to be my Great Pyrenees. Used to be much more of an outdoor dog than he is now. He's gotten soft. He's gotten older, and I think he's like, I've had my time out in the snow. I used to like it, and now it's like, I'm out here now, and it's cold. I'm an indoor dog now. Let me back in.
Yeah, both of mine the other night stayed out so long that their back paws were freezing up, and they were doing the rear goose step.
So, you get that snow and ice compacted between the pads and everything. Yeah.
Yep. And then they're begging me to clean it out. Whereas, when they come in with mud, they're like, "Oh, you can't touch me." Little assholes.
Just stick their paws in a bucket of cold water, not warm water. Learned that lesson a long time ago. You come inside with like bitterly cold hands where you're numb, you can't feel them. Don't stick them under warm water. That'll hurt and make them itch. Whatever the science behind that, I have no idea. But the cold water works better. Cold water. So the World Junior Championships, Team USA won back-to-back golds now. They did defeat Finland 4-3 in overtime. So Colin Ralph for Team USA, the Blues prospect. He registered 1 assist in 7 games during his first World Juniors tournament. Point-wise, not the most impressive of the Blues prospects in the World Junior Championships. So the Blues are looking pretty good, though, prospect-wise, at least with the results. I mean, we've already got, a couple of players that we're looking forward to seeing. But
right,
man,
one of whom wasn't in this tournament, and Snuggerud.
Snuggerud was not in the tournament, right? But Snuggerud's yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, 9 points in 5 games played, and he looked good. I can't read this image that Jeff shared in here. I can't. It's too small.
Yeah. So Dvorsky, Juraj Pekarsik.
There it is, Pekarsik.
From Slovakia. They were line mates. 9 points for Dvorsky, 7 for Pekarsik. Stenberg and Lindstein from Sweden had 8 and 4. Stenberg looked good. The few highlights I got to see of him. Looks like might be a year or 2 away, but might be a Steiner type player. So
Stencil had 10 points.
Stencil, yeah, and I think 7 of those are in 1 game. So the 14 something win over Kazakhstan, or
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean, this is not breaking news. They've been talking about this a lot, but the Blues prospects we're kind of stacked as far as I wouldn't say we have any like blue chip can't miss number 1 pick overall, like or top 3, 5 pick, whatever overall players. But there's a lot of really good players projected anyway, middle six guys that could really, I mean, a good team has to be a deep team, right? And these are the kinds of players that help fill out your team as far as having a good depth goes, scoring from the third line, scoring from the second line. Hopefully some of these guys can fill that role on this team.
Right. I mean, think back to, when we were coming out of the shit years and we had the highest end draft picks that we had, right? We had number 1 and number 4, and we went defenseman with both of those. So we haven't had really high end draft pick on the offensive side of things that we've been super stoked about, right? Dvorsky is probably the highest end offensive draft pick that we've had.
Yep.
I think the last one would have been Lars Eller. I mean, you had Tarasenko and Schwartz, but they were 14 and 16 in their draft year. So
the obvious glaring need, it's not a secret on this team, is a second line center. That's the elephant in the room that this team needs is a second line center. And Dvorsky is, shaping up to be that guy. Hopefully. But he's not, obviously he's, he might play at the end of the season, probably next year for sure with the Blues. It's just a question of if he's going to get here quick enough, and get to the quality second line center level once he's been here quick enough. After he's been playing in the NHL, I don't think anybody expect him right away to step into that role. Maybe right away. I mean, you know how things go, right? You guys will play on the 3rd, 4th line to get their feet wet and get comfortable, and then eventually, hopefully, move up. But so I don't know. People are wanting the Blues to make a move. Some are
right
at the deadline or before the deadline to pick up a second line center or whatever. But I'm still steadfast. Usually, I'm like, if we're there, make a move. No, I don't want them to. Not this year.
Yeah. No. So I don't know if you saw the Athletics big trade board going. Because we're getting close. We're within a month and a half of the trade deadline. So they've got their big trade board, and the Blues are on there with Brandon Saad as a potential exit.
Yeah.
And that's intriguing in opening up, what he's basically been getting top 6 minutes over the last 3 weeks. So opening up a top 6 spot, you wonder if they do that, does that increase the likelihood of bringing Snuggerud after the NCAAs, after Minnesota's out, or Dvorsky coming up?
Well, Armstrong had said, was it yesterday? I think that because the Frozen Four is in St. Louis.
Yes, it is. And
So
I got my tickets.
awesome. So Snuggerud will, I mean, hopefully they win it, right? But Armstrong said ideally, Snuggerud comes to St. Louis for the Frozen Four, wins it, and then just stays here. Right? Just packs a big bag and stays with the Blues. So that's what Armstrong wants to happen. So I guess either way, unless something changes, plan on Snuggerud joining the Blues after the Frozen Four is over.
Yeah, that's best case scenario. I know. Last year, people seem to be upset after he said he's going to go back to Minnesota for another year, and there's speculation. Does he really even want to be here? Do we want to get just trade him and let him be somebody else's thing? But no, dude is the best shooter that this team's seen. Right-handed shots. I'm not taking anything away from Tarasenko, but best right-handed shooter this team's seen probably since Scott Young. So why don't get rid of him?
No, absolutely not. I don't think Armstrong would, unless they've had conversations with Snuggerud where he says absolutely will not play here. Players they have their opinions on whatever. Then I would imagine they'd try and trade him. Maybe, I don't know, but
right. You don't let that get public, and then you move.
No. Then if it was public, I don't think they would trade him. Armstrong's not that kind of guy, right? He's not. I don't think Armstrong's ever the kind of guy that's just gonna I'm gonna sell low on a guy. He's just held on to a player as opposed to selling low. I think he's worth the player is worth more being here than to sell low and get next to nothing for him or something. But I'm all for moving Saad at the deadline. I'd be shocked if he's not. He has one more year left on this contract after this one, so it's not a lot for a team to take on.
Right.
And I think after his hat trick against Ottawa, I think that only boosted his after not scoring like any goals in 17, 19 games, whatever it was.
Yeah. He's going long stretches in between, and he looked pretty bad in the Columbus game, getting beat on that shorthanded goal. But yeah, I mean he's still showing, and I think what the Athletics take was, right, he's a guy that's built like he's a better fit on a possible contender than on a retooling team like the Blues.
Sure. Yeah, I mean his age is
right, 34.
He's 32.
32?
32.
Man, I keep adding years to him.
He's not old. He's on the wrong side of 30, and for a team that's retooling, and they're not going to re-sign him after 25, 26 probably. So it's like, get something for him. I get that. They probably won't get a whole lot for him. He makes 4.5. It's not expensive. It's not cheap either.
But I would not, with seeing with what Doug Armstrong can do with future considerations, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, that's a good point. But although you would think he'd want to get a draft pick back because we have draft picks. We have a first round,
second round, right? We need second rounders.
We need second rounders, and if we get a second round pick for Saad, that'd be good.
Even if you package like a fourth in Saad for a second, I think that's.
Oh, I do that. I don't. Yeah, fourth round draft picks are like. Joe Schmo in the chat says from our discussion earlier, Prairie Farms building used to be at Grand and Chateau, right? I don't know.
Yes, sure. where the new Midtown Target is, and Topgolf, right in that little area there.
So that's where it used to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Well, I guess so. They moved from there over to Edwardsville. Same building, same people,
but probably that was probably a distribution center there.
Yeah. Yeah. So the bronze medal game, the Czechs beat the Swedes 3-2. Yeah, and Canada lost to Latvia. Right, got bumped. So that's It's okay. Nothing against Canada. I love the USA-Canada rivalry. Their games are fantastic. They're fun. Sports need rivalries, and that's a good one. But part of me is like the sense of entitlement that a lot of Canadians seem to have about the World Juniors, about how they assume they're going to win every year. And USA is kind of taking it over, right? Last 10 years, USA they have more medals than Canada. So in the juniors, so it's just I like the fact that they don't own this shit anymore, and it's USA's thing right now. So I kind of just like a little smirk on my face. It's like, every year this happens, and it's so important to Canada, and I think it probably pisses them off because, generally speaking, in the United States, I don't think most people care. Hockey fans do in the US,
right?
But it's not like a nationwide thing with the World Juniors down here,
right? And Gord Miller went to painstaking lengths in that final game against Finland to point out, I think 3 or 4 times, that the U.S. has 7 World Junior titles now, and 4 of those were won on Canadian soil. So he's the guy that, to me, when Canada's going, he is their biggest fan, and it gets to the point of annoying. He's a great announcer. I love listening to Gord call games, but when he's calling a Canadian gold medal junior game, it is so like just the homerism gets a little too much for me. So he's definitely taking it hard, and I don't understand why. But I also wonder, and maybe Ken, who, as he pointed out, is in Halifax, Nova Scotia, north of the border. Have there been a lot of think pieces published about this is karma coming back for all the the mismanagement of the sexual assault allegations?
Ooh.
Right? Is that a theme in Canada right now, or are you more worried about Justin Trudeau stepping down? I know a lot of people hate him, but
yeah. I mean, there was we went to the Cirque du Soleil thing at the Fox. Amy and I did, or the Circus. What was it called? I forgot what it's called. Circus. It wasn't the Cirque du Soleil. It was something else. But it was a Christmas thing. It was fun. It was cool. But the comedian that was a magician who was the host had a knock on Trudeau. So he's Canadian. So it was just kind of he's not exactly popular right now. Like
right, and he's trying to step down.
He did step down.
He announced it, but I don't think it's taken effect yet.
Oh no, I don't think so either. So the Four Nations tournament that's coming up, do you think it'll be Canada's revenge? They're gonna try and get. I mean, obviously, the NHL players are heavily interested in the World Juniors, right? They all are. And so, and I'm sure that Team Canada in the Four Nations, they're thinking about this. We lost World Juniors, we're not going to lose this one. So, so a chip on Canada's shoulder, I guess, with this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess so. You should see Canada's best.
I do think it will make it much more intriguing watching.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, and even if it doesn't play out that way with the players, the fans, they we lost the World Juniors, we can't lose this one. We got to get a gold in this one. So it'll be fun. It won't be as much fun with if Russia were in it, but
right.
They have other issues. They're keeping them out. My biggest gripe with the World Juniors though was most people couldn't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
NHL Network. Right. In the U.S. anyway.
Right.
Why?
Why? They make it, I've gotten tired of paying for the subscription level required to get NHL Network.
It's always the top tier. It's always the top tier of whatever streaming cable package or service you have. It sucks. It's stupid.
And now with Fubo going to Hulu, I haven't even looked at that, but that was my thing. Last year or 2 years ago, maybe it was last year, I did a free trial during the World Juniors on Fubo so I could watch it. But now in the last week, they've announced that Fubo and Hulu Plus Live TV are combining, and so that's probably going to be another thing that's going to be more difficult to get NHL Network. It's because it never works out to make it easier for people to get it, right? It's just always more expensive. And yeah,
Matt in the chat says, so tired of these subscription bullshit. Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, streaming, oh yeah, let's cut the cord and we'll get streaming, and we'll just, you got to pay whatever. It's, $20 a month. You get just a couple streaming services and you're good to go. Netflix and one other one, you get everything pretty much. Now it's so fragmented, and every single production studio seems to have their own streaming service. And there's a dozen of them. And so if you want to watch things, you've got to subscribe to a dozen different things, 6 different things, whatever it is. And you're paying just as much or more than you back in the day when you were paying for, a couple of bucks a month for cable.
Right.
It's so stupid.
Right. It's for me to watch my 2 favorite teams this year. Right. So the Blues, I'm on YouTube TV. So I have that subscription. Does not allow me to watch most Blues games because they don't carry FanDuel. So I have the $20 a month subscription of FanDuel, which I am learning to hate because it's there.
Is that through the app?
It's through the app, which they do. They have apps on all the different TV platforms, but they're all terrible. And if I get home within 5 minutes of the game ending, I have to wait 24 hours to watch it. And the interface is terrible. Like trying to fast forward and rewind more often than not, it pauses, buffers, and I have to start from scratch. And I hate it.
Man, it sucks.
Yeah. So right there, my YouTube plus that is $100 a month. And then if I want to watch Liverpool games, I also have to have Peacock, $8 a month. And with the other competitions that Liverpool plays in, I have to have Paramount Plus. So another $8.
So
right? It's insane.
You got to jump through all kinds of hoops to get what you had on cable. Right. And it's just so stupid. And people wonder,
right.
And people, it's like, oh, you shouldn't pirate things. I'm like, this is why people pirate you, because it's so difficult, and the app doesn't work the way it should. But if you pirate a game, well, it comes in smooth as could be, crystal clear. It's fine. I'm like, how do they have these? Oh, it's just so it's easier for people. It's just they're making it so difficult and so inconvenient and so expensive. Right. And it's like, what do you want people to do? They're kind of backed into a corner with this stuff.
And we've been saying for years, right? If the NHL wants to grow the sport, they want to grow the game, put your damn network free on your website.
That's what I have down here in the chat, in my notes. My biggest gripe was that it was on NHL Network, but and I've said this before, NHL Network needs to be streamed free over NHL.com. Just make it free, and they televise some games per week, not a lot, but a couple.
Right.
No, and there's other
that I've wanted to watch that I haven't been able to.
Yeah. And they could watch the World Juniors. They could watch other programs that NHL puts out. It would grow the game. It can't be that expensive for them. And the league is making a ton of money. The salary cap's going up like crazy next year. They're doing well.
You're not paying Ken Danico and Dave Reed that much money that you can't, that you have to offset it by charging super high cable subscription prices.
And so we don't have any pull on this show, but who Spit and Chicklets should get on the bandwagon. I know that what's his face is on
Bissonnette.
TNT. Yeah, Bissonnette's on TNT. So, but yeah, TNT should have fucking carried the World Juniors. I don't know why they didn't do that. They talked about the games. They showed highlights. They're all excited how great a tournament was for US. They didn't televise shit for the tournament. They should have. Why not? You're the NHL's outlet on cable, but you didn't do any of this for your hockey fans. And then if they would put good hockey programming out besides the initial games they do on TNT. Do they? I guess they do. Do they have hockey shows on TNT? Besides, like, I mean, they have post game stuff, but do they have like a night where they have like a couple hour hockey show? No, they don't.
No,
I
no,
don't think so.
no. If you wanted to watch Road to the Winter Classic, they had that.
Okay,
but that was.
But it's not a regular
half hour each.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'll tell you what, I didn't go back and watch the last 2 episodes. Right, they released the last one half an hour before the game, and after Jeff and I wrapped up the show, things got a little busy, and I'm like, I planned on watching the last 2, couldn't watch them either. Now I have no interest.
NHL Network needs to be streamed free on NHL.com. I mean, nobody. I'd love to see the percentage of people that actually get NHL Network in their homes. It can't be that many, and they're just they're hiding content almost by we're putting on NHL Network. So a few people. I mean, yeah, some people get the highest package. More power to them. They get every station. They get all this crap, but most people don't. I mean, and it's gotten so expensive now. It's like Jesus, it's got to cost like $250 a month just to get the highest package on a service.
Right. That's what I was paying last year when I finally got rid of Spectrum, when the Blues got eliminated from playoff contention last year. I finally dumped Spectrum when I had the highest package so that I could get NHL Network, and I was paying $255 a month, which included it did include my internet subscription, but there was no bundle discount in that, which was really insane to me. Yeah.
I switched over to DirecTV streaming a few years ago and love it. That's what I want to go to, but to get NHL Network, it would go back up to about $230 a month. I just do without it. I mean, I'm more than happy saving $100 some odd a month by not, $1,200 a year, whatever it is, to not have NHL Network. I can do without. I can watch highlights online. It's fine. I'll get by. But the NHL is missing out because, I mean, just this show is an example. This tiny little show, right, that we do. We could have watched all the World Junior games, and we could have talked about it in detail a little better than we are, and not just go by highlights and
stats.
Stuff like that. And stats, yeah. To actually watch the game is a little more. You get a little better coverage that way. So Ken Morris says, I'm not pissed off. USA was by far the better team, and I do not feel entitled either. USA win is good for hockey. I guess, Ken, I guess you're a Team Canada fan. I assume you're disappointed in how they played. Do you think that Canada should have played better? Do you think Canada fell short of what they should have done? USA, from what I saw, was the better team anyway, but should Canada have medaled in this, in your opinion? Man, I get worked up with this shit streaming. Yeah. It's such a money grab shit show. It's changing seemingly by month. And then, of course, everybody's raising the rates. Cutting the cord was cheap, and then now everyone's raising it by $5-10 per package every 6 months. It seems like. Yeah, exactly. Every 6 months. I don't know. Maybe we should do a commercial break and come back and talk about how it's going to be free for some people in the St. Louis area. Let's do that. You're listening to Kurt and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
As a hockey player, Mike Burgoyne knows a thing or two about making the perfect play. And when it comes to real estate, he's always ready to score the winning goal for his clients. If you're a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues Radio listener looking to score the home of your dreams, you'll receive special rates with Mike. Go ahead, shoot some questions his way, and he'll have the answer quicker than Curtis Joseph on a breakaway. Curtis Joseph got the pedal down! Any barriers? Mike will mow them down like Chris Pronger in front of the net. He'll score you your dream home or sell your existing home faster than a Brett Hall one-timer. Flip past the Hall, he shoots, he scores! See Burgoyne's real estate prowess in action today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or by calling 314-753-4060. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com, and that phone number is 314-753-4060. Getting Mike Burgoyne on your team will be the boost your power play needs.
Hey guys, it's Jeff. You know, the fun, energetic host of Let's Go Blues Radio. I know I give off a natural energy and cheerful glow, but as I've gotten older, I've realized I need a kick in the pants to get going. I've tried it all, from forcing myself to drink coffee to picking up an energy drink every morning, but none of it provided true, sustainable energy without crash. Luckily, my friend Dustin at rockinthатidlife.com told me about their product, Energy, which provides exactly what I need. The first thing I do every morning is fill up my shaker bottle with water and a small energy packet, and within minutes of drinking it, my day truly begins. I feel motivated to get going on my work and feel the mental focus take effect as I dive into what I'm doing. I don't crash, and I feel like $1,000,000 throughout the day. Reach out to Dustin today to experience how much better your professional life can be. Email him at rockinthатidlife@gmail.com and get $10 off your first order. That's rockinthатidlife.com, and that email again is rockinthатidlife@gmail.com. Don't let a lack of energy keep you from being who you want to be.
Yes, and as you can see, there are a lot of different ways to stamp out thirst with refreshing Stag beer. Now, one of the most popular is this handy six-pack. People like the six-pack because it saves space in the refrigerator, lets them keep more good, cold Stag beer on hand. And you know, when you've got Stag on hand, you've got a mess.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
So it's quite a bit of discussion in the chat about streaming services. And Trees says there's Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Apple TV, HBO Max, and those just the basic ones. Paramount is one. That doesn't include stuff like Motor Trend that randomly has stuff that you've never heard of. Yeah, there's just too many. And you know what we're gonna have eventually? There's gonna be mergers. People are gonna come together and merge to form a bigger one, and then it's gonna go all over the place, just back and forth.
That's what's happening right now with Hulu Plus Live TV and Fubo, right? That's being driven by Disney trying to keep ESPN at the center of everything. And then in August, ESPN's gonna launch a standalone ESPN subscription that's gonna be $40-something bucks a month.
That should be ESPN Plus. They already have one. ESPN Plus. Why?
Right.
Oh, that's, you know what? Okay, that to me sounds a lot like, and that's the first I've heard of this, but it sounds a lot to me like Amazon streaming video. Like if you're a Amazon Prime member, which I am, so you get Amazon Video with it, but not all of Amazon Video. You've got to pay extra to get, I don't know, all the content on their video stream. So I'm like, that's a fucking money grab. Like Bezos doesn't have enough money, you gotta. It's just, I mean, it's insane.
I gotta see when my Prime. I think my Prime is about to re-up, and I don't know that I want to do it.
Yeah, I was on the fence with it. You can split it with people. I heard legally. I think. But
yep. My Prime renewal date is January 11th.
Ooh, that's just right around the corner. Just a few days.
2 days to decide, because it's $40 more than when I signed up for it. So,
how much is it now?
$139.
Fuck me! It was like 60 or 70 when I first signed up. I think it was 40 for me when I had the educational discount. They don't allow that anymore. When I was first signed up, I worked in the university, and I got had the EDU email address. I got the educational discount. They don't allow that anymore. At least not for me. You got to prove you're a student. I'm not a student. So Ken Morris says, yep, Team Canada fan, but when Canada's out, USA is my team. Okay. I feel a little bad gloating for the Canada fans. No, sorry, Ken. Not you, others, other entitled fans. Yeah, I'm sure you know. I'm sure you've seen some. Okay, so The Blues partner with the Blues partner with First Alert 4 and Matrix Midwest to broadcast 3 games over the air. I have never heard of First Alert 4 or Matrix Midwest. I know what First Alert 4 is. Never really heard KMOV Channel 4 refer to themselves only as First Alert 4. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You're Channel 4. Say you're Channel 4. You're gonna, I don't. And the Matrix Midwest. What the hell is that? I had never heard that before. So First Alert 4 and its sister station, Matrix Midwest, are thrilled to announce the return of over-the-air NHL hockey broadcast to the St. Louis market and various gray media affiliate stations across the Midwest. In partnership with the St. Louis Blues, the stations will offer a series of games over the air during the stretch run of this season. 3 games. February 22nd versus Winnipeg, March 8th at Los Angeles, and March 25th versus Montreal. These games will be broadcast in an additional 10 gray media markets and Columbia, Missouri, covering more than 4.8 million television households. This arrangement creates an opportunity for new groups of viewers in the Midwest to watch their favorite hockey team via antenna, as well as popular cable, satellite, and streaming providers. I have questions and issues with this. I'm not against going to on-air streaming. I like it. I mean, obviously, it's free to watch for people, but I'm like, why?
Can you get Ken Wilson and Bruce Affleck to do the call?
Oh, the old Channel 11 days.
That'd
be great. Oh, and you have them do the call, and you put vintage graphics on the screen, and have them. Fine, I'd accept the clown jerseys for that, for that broadcast. But so this to me is fragmenting the broadcast even more than they already are, and which I hate it when the Cardinals have that occasional free game on Apple TV, because you turn on Fox and Midwest or Bally's, and it's like, where are the Cardinals? And it's like, oh fuck, they're on Apple. Well, my DVR doesn't record Apple. I guess you can watch it from the beginning on Apple TV, whatever. But
Jeff and I talked about that last week.
Yeah, it's like,
how many people missed the Pujols 700?
Yeah. Well, it was free to watch for anybody, but no one knew that. Well,
exactly.
A lot of people didn't know that. They didn't. Oh, I don't have a subscription. You don't have to. Well, I don't have Apple TV app. Well, it's free. You can get it and you can watch the game for free. Well,
and this is why they're doing it. If you don't have it, get it. It's free for this one thing.
Yeah. And so putting this over the air is great. I think this isn't just the Blues doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. They're not just to give a few games for free to people. That's not what they're not doing. It's not. They're not in the business of giving away stuff for free to people that would ordinarily be paying for this. So it's got to be something where they're exploring options in case FanDuel Sports does not keep
that. That's immediately, as soon as I read Chris Zimmerman's name in this, I'm like, yeah, they're keeping doors open.
Yeah, and so it'd be great if and it might be a trial run for KMOV. It's like, hey, we might be interested down the road in buying the television rights to the Blues, but we'd like a few games here to see how it goes and what kind of viewership we get, and stuff like that. And the Blues can see how well it goes over, maybe. But it's not just, hey, we're giving you a few games for free. There's something they're testing or looking at here for the future. So I'd love for all the games to go back to over their TV. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. But let me ask you this. So the 3 games that are going to happen are February 22nd versus Winnipeg, March 8th versus Los Angeles, and March 25th versus Montreal. That game's in St. Louis.
Yep.
Right. So all 3 of these games are in tornado season.
So we're going to lose power for all these games.
Are we going to lose power, or are we going to have to watch Steve Templeton talk about where the tornadoes are instead of watching the Blues game?
Or have a big weather map that covers a third of the screen in the corner.
Problems we haven't had in 25 years, right?
Yeah. Unless there's an actual tornado on the ground somewhere in St. Louis, don't cut into my programming. You've got the map on the screen. You've got the ticker. I mean, I can see what's going on. Don't interrupt the programming to show me the map, big screen, and explain that, well, this could be happening. This could be happening. No. I get it. Safety first. I understand. But, don't just rehash what's already on the screen. I don't care. Let me watch my game or my show. But yeah, so we'll see how this pans out. And what happens with this moving forward. I think 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I think Cardinals and Blues and a lot of other teams too will be completely different as far as maybe completely different as far as how people get to watch the team play, whether it's on FanDuel, whether it's some kind of streaming service owned by the team, whether the NHL takes it over and does everything through the website, or it's all local, on over the air stuff, which is that'd be ideal for everybody, because then bars wouldn't have to pay an exorbitant fee to broadcast these games in the bar, which I'm sure a lot of them don't pay those fees. They just stream them in anyway. They just ask for forgiveness later, and then people can watch them for free at home. Which back in the day, what would you take, Bill? Would you rather have the Blues games only broadcast on, say, KMOV? So it's free to watch, but 12 games are not on TV like it used to be when they were broadcast on Channel 11.
Considering that
not on TV anywhere, like you couldn't watch them anywhere.
Right. Considering I usually wind up missing at least 12 games a year, I'd probably go with give it to me for free.
But what are the odds that the 12 games you miss are going to be the ones that are on TV? You might miss 24 games.
I might be able to control my schedule a little better.
Gotcha. Ken Morris says, Kurt, you are one cool dude. I would never be offended by anything you, Bill, or Jeff say. I respect your honesty too much. Oh, Ken, that's quite nice. I think I need a T-shirt that says the first part of that. That'd be nice. Appreciate it, Ken. Appreciate the comments as always. Okay, so yeah, so we'll see where that goes with the streaming with the Blues. I don't know. It's interesting to me. But anyway, hey, 3 free games for those who don't have cable or any type of streaming service. You get to watch the Blues 3 times.
Right. If you have an antenna.
If you have an antenna that's over the air, which if you don't have an antenna is like, then you're just back in, days where you just out of luck. They can't do everything for you. They can't come to your house and they can't give you tickets to the game. So they could.
They could. I more than likely will be at that Montreal game though. Right. So
yeah, probably. You tend to go to those.
Tend to go to that game. And it's late. It's crazy. Why would we play Montreal the last week of March?
Yeah.
This season has made no sense from a scheduling standpoint.
Okay. Winter Classic. Blues did defeat the Blackhawks 6-2 in the Winter Classic in Enterprise Center North or Busch Stadium North, whichever baseball or hockey, which one you use. The Blues kind of, I don't know if there were more Blues fans than Hawks fans there, but there were a lot of Blues fans there.
Yeah.
You could hear them. They were vocal.
Yeah. The countdown with Tellin leading the way.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, and the Hawks aren't very good. And the sports fan in me that hates the Blackhawks love to see Bedard pretty much say that their play was embarrassing in front of their fans in their outdoor game. It's embarrassing, whatever. And I'm like, well, you know what, Connor? The Blackhawks suck in these games, outdoor games. They have one win, I think it is, in the outdoor games.
And it was a Stadium Series game, not a Winter Classic.
So they've got 1 out of 37 games they've played. 8, right?
It's
8 games. They have 1 win.
Yeah,
8 outdoor games, 1 win. So that's and I've heard before, like when the Hawks and Blues played before in Busch Stadium, I heard Blackhawks fans say when they were announced as the team the Blues are playing, they were like, "Oh, not another outdoor game."
Right.
I think a lot of Blackhawks fans are just tired of it. They're just like, we've been in so many. It's not new to us anymore. We don't look well in these games. We look poor. We can't win them. Just a lot of them have been vocal online. It's like, just stop. We don't need any more.
Yeah, but it might be the only game you get to see on TV because they're going back to the old Bill Wirtz scenario there.
That is, I didn't see details on that, but I heard about it. I was like, that's bonkers to me because Dollar Bill, right? He was the one that that
Yeah.
that did that. That's bananas to go back to that. No other city does that, do they? I mean, that's why because the thinking is, oh well, we can't broadcast them, we can't put out, and that was, but okay. So in Dollar Bill's defense, that was back in the day when I think the games were on free TV.
In
For
the
Chicago.
70s, right?
Yeah. So but
70s and 80s.
So his thinking was, why would we put the games out there on free TV when people would just stay home and watch it and they wouldn't come to the games? I understand that logic, even though it doesn't really pan out. If you have a good team, people are going to come out to see it no matter what. So it basically just gave him the ability to, well, if you want to see a bad team, you got to come see them in person because you can't see them on TV. So, but now the stuff's not on free TV anymore. I know some markets may have some games on free TV, but
right, and they've got their own NBC sports local
Channel.
network thing going on.
Yeah,
it's so.
Why?
You made a great point. It is so fragmented and fractured right now.
I know it's you. I mean, if you're a hockey fan, I mean, which if you're listening to the show, you probably are. You've got to have a half a dozen different services just to get every single NHL game, and it shouldn't be this hard. I have ESPN Plus, and I like it. I get almost every game. I don't get the local streamed games, because that's a whole other discussion. But and that should be all the games, but it's not, because it doesn't include NHL Network, doesn't include TNT games. So I mean, you got to have NHL Network, got to have cable or streaming service for TNT. You got to have ESPN Plus. You got to have something that hopefully has your team's local team's channel that they play on. So it's a 3 or 4 different things sometimes and it's just a pain in the ass. And the whole show is going to be this, I think.
Right. It is. I mean, that's really what we've spent most of our time talking about.
I mean, it seems like overlap all these topics we're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't mean to bombard people with this stuff, but it's just I don't know. I growing up in an era where everything was on free TV. Granted, all the games weren't televised, but what was it, 60 something were on TV out of 82. Yeah. So there were a lot of them on TV.
I would venture to say that up until I hit probably about 33, more than half of the games that I watched in my life were on a 13-inch black and white TV with rabbit ears.
And you were happy with it at the time, weren't you?
I was. Yeah. I was ecstatic with it.
Although, so the first person I knew who had a huge satellite dish, the 10-foot wide thing.
Your cousin Jeff.
Yeah. And when I went over there and I saw that Hockey Night in Canada, you get Hockey Night in Canada, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So, that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, being able to watch games in French. Right? Oh, the Blues. He recorded a game, Blues and Nordiques, in 91, 92.
Tugnut in net.
Millen was in net for the Blues. It was probably he was there late 80s, early 90s, so it may have been.
Okay.
Might have been early Stefan Fiset.
Yeah, that was my next guess.
He recorded that for me on a VHS, and I took that to French class, and we watched it for 3 days. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, we got a period a day.
Remember the famous game where I think it was Flames and Kings, and they took the glass up from between the benches and went after each other?
Yeah,
I was over his house watching that game on the satellite.
That's amazing. the good old Smythe division, right?
Oh man, I feel sorry for fans nowadays who didn't get to experience that era of NHL, because it was like the Wild West in a way, and it was so great. It was just, and then you get the old farts that take over the league and say, we're going to put a stop to this stuff. And I'm like, we're going to make it more family friendly. I mean, hockey survived a long time without being family friendly. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine. Now
I'm sure I've mentioned it a million times on the show, but some of my favorite hockey memories are my dad and I going to games at the Checker Dome in the early 80s, Blues Blackhawks, Blues North Stars, where there were more fights in the stands than there were on the ice. And there were a lot of fights on the ice.
The whole place smelled like stale beer and
piss
stale
and
beer
cigarettes,
and you can see the smoke, the haziness,
Yeah.
and at the top of the rafters at the arena. And you walk. I mean, I've told this before. When I walked in the old arena, it had a smell, and it wasn't a bad smell. It was just it was a hockey smell, and it was concrete. It was spilled beer, and it was like popcorn in the distance, and just a little bit of smoke, and that was mustiness, right? And that was hockey. And that's how locker rooms smelled. You know, it was just
some of them still do.
Yeah, I'm sure. But that era, man, it's such a I don't want to be that guy, but the league it's been pussified. It really has, compared to the way it used to be. If you compare the two eras, there was a badass league back in the 70s and 80s, early 90s maybe, but it just, and then Bettman takes over and it changes.
Right.
So
kind of the end game for that was probably the St. Patrick's Day Massacre. Right.
Yeah, that was one of the last big brouhahas, right?
Right. The other one that you'll think of is Colorado Detroit 96 playoffs. Right?
Oh God.
Look at my faith.
Look at my faith. That whole, I mean, and again, people who didn't experience that, go back and find the games, watch them, and if you haven't, your jaw will drop as far as like what went on during these games and what they allowed. If you just watch a game from the 80s on YouTube, a full game, there's a lot of them out there. I mean, the amount of clutching and grabbing and holding and hacking and slashing and whacking and the guys getting beat to hell in front of the net. I mean, it's a really different game than it is today. I mean, you can argue today that yes, the skilled players are allowed to be more skilled today in this environment that the NHL has. And I love the NHL today. I do. But my favorite era is back then.
Yeah. So if you want to see like some of the height of that era, I want to combine a couple of these for this show. Go find the 1987 Canada versus USSR World Juniors Brawl.
Is that the 87? Oh, that's not the one where the what's his face takes a swing at the official. That's
No,
the 70s. That was the 70s.
That was the Summit Series. That was Esposito.
That was bad too.
Yeah.
He damn near.
Was it Esposito? No, it was Parise. No. JP Parise, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he didn't take a swing. He almost did. He had his stick cocked like this, and he skated the official and went like this, and just stopped his swing. And I mean, if that happened today, I mean, he didn't do anything, but he threatened to do something, which is bad. And I don't what happened. He stayed in the game. He didn't even get kicked out of that game. That was insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, those Canada Cup games, my God.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. But yeah, go CBC if you might have to put a VPN on to get the actual video content.
Which again,
CBC in the US, right?
Bullshit.
What the hell?
More fragmentation, right? You can't view shit you want to watch.
Right.
Come on.
Right. Let me watch it.
I just want to watch hockey. Can I pick a game and watch it?
It's all over YouTube as well. So you don't have to go to CBC. If you want to go the proper route, but do it with a VPN, go to CBC. Otherwise, go to YouTube. But that brawl is something else. And
there will be a day when I can say I want to watch this particular game from 1983, and I can pull it up and watch it as part of whatever I'm watching.
But how much are you going to pay for that? Because
eventually, after the Clone Wars happen, well, everything but free, right?
But that was the other disturbing thing from this week that is going to impact this. That I think we should probably mention net neutrality being struck down. So
yeah. Ken Morris says he does agree with you, Bill. JP Parise. Yeah. 1972. So 1972 Summit Series, Canada and Russia. It was an 8-game series. Is that what they did? It's a weird number. It's not 7. It wasn't 7. I think the way they did it, didn't they?
It was 4 in Canada and 4 in Russia, right?
Yeah, but then I think I forgot what Canada won it, but
Paul Henderson.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Was it a night? It was. I forgot what the games were. Because I thought it was tied going to the last game, or wasn't there? There was a tie. Are there 2 ties? I don't know. There was a tie in the series, wasn't there? In one of the games?
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't remember.
I remember the Tragically Hip song "Fireworks," which touches on that more than the actual series, right? If there was a goal that everyone remembers, it was back in old 72. We all gripped the stick and we all pulled the trigger. That's
72 is 2 years before I was born.
4 years before me.
All right.
Yeah, Ken Morris, our Canadian fact checker.
8 games.
8
4
games.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And what was the final count in that series? Was it Canada won it? Was it 5 games to 3? Or 4?
It was probably
4-3-1.
It had to be 4-3-1.
I think it was 3 wins apiece, and there was a tie. And then the 8th game was the tiebreaker.
Right.
Luckily,
Right.
otherwise, well, yeah. I mean, that would suck if each team won 4 games. I'm guessing that's the way it was. I think it was something like that. I'm sure Ken will let us know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. And Phil Esposito, during the introductions in Russia, falling flat on his face, and it was the moment of levity that everybody needed.
That you would never see that again today. 8 games against just 2
well,
nations.
Blues and Utah Hockey Club when
Right.
bird
Arizona
flu hits next year, right?
Right. Oh God, that's just what we need. On top of everything else, with the incoming administration, to have another pandemic under his watch. It's like, are you kidding me? Another one?
I might actually believe that it's a conspiracy at that point.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing to me? Yeah. Those wet markets in China. Things getting out of hand every 8 years. All right.
Should we talk about some Blues hockey?
I mean, we can. We did mention the Blues beat the Hawks 6-2 in the Winter Classic. Fowler became the first Blues player to score in his 1,000th game. He is the second defenseman to score 2 goals in his 1,000th game. That's kind of weird, arbitrary, like a random stat. Right. I'm not a fan of those stats. Like he's the only player to score 2 goals in his 1,000th game. That's kind of random. Okay.
But how much better would it have been had he scored 3? Got the fucking hat trick.
I know.
To get the 100th goal in the 1,000th game.
He had a chance early in the third, a couple little chances, but nothing really substantial. I don't think to get his third. Even though they looked for him a little bit, you could tell. First defenseman to score twice outdoors. Again, another weird stat. Jeff putting these weird stats in here. yeah, but was he the first defenseman to score twice? On what day was this? Monday?
Without wearing a jock.
right. Wearing these colors. I don't know. Nylon socks. He's the first defenseman to score twice wearing nylon socks. Pulled up to a certain height on his thighs.
He wasn't wearing a garter belt though.
No, right.
They were taped on.
Right. Oh, yeah. I was not a garter belt guy. I was a taped guy.
Weirdo.
Yeah, I didn't play a ton of ice hockey. He was awarded Fowler was awarded the Coco Cup, which is the NHL's most valuable player award of the Winter Classic. How is this award not sponsored by a chocolate company?
Right, Swiss Miss.
Where Nestle, are you? Something. Right. I mean,
Quick Rabbit.
I mean, even like a Carnation, maybe. If whatever. Hershey's. Yeah, you got money, Hershey's. TNT could have made that happen, right?
Right. So. Wait. No, shouldn't it be what's the Ovaltine?
Ovaltine, right?
It ties into 24 Hours of Christmas Story, which is on TNT TBS, right?
Wow.
God damn.
Yes,
they should hire us.
And not to go off topic here, which we never do on the show.
We haven't done once tonight.
I fucking love A Christmas Story, the marathon they do 24 hours. Love it. I love it so much. It's on. I'll get done Christmas Day with stuff in the morning, and I tend to just go home and there's nothing else to do like in the afternoon and the evening, and I'll put that on. and I'll take a nap and fall asleep to that thing on the TV. It's just so great, so great.
Yep. Yeah. How often do you watch it with Amy? And do you ever point out that Melinda Dillon was Hanrahan's wife in Slapshot?
Slapshot, complete. They really should do a split screen of when she's in bed
with Reg.
With Reg, and then and then any scene, right?
Yeah, when she puts the life buoy in her mouth.
Wow. She has a pretty sensitive gag reflex in Christmas Story. Not so much maybe in the Slapshot.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Oh, off the rails, this show. Fowler's former Ducks teammates arrived for their home game against the New Jersey Devils on Tuesday wearing shirts honoring Fowler for playing his 1,000th NHL game. That was kind of cool. He just left there, so,
Right.
Blues had 12 players with at least a point in this game. Bennington was stopped 20 to 30. Mrazek stopped 22 of 28. Ouch.
Yeah, he was not good.
No. Blues were 2 for 3 on the power play, and Chicago was 2 for 4. The only bright spot for Chicago was the 50% on the power play.
Which, is a point that we should talk about the Blues and how shit we've gotten on the penalty kill.
Yeah. I don't... They were talking in the game last night, the Minnesota game, that they're scoring some goals now. Now we just get the special teams in order. It's always something, and the goaltending too. Goaltending has not been great. So after that, after that nice game the Blues had, Bennington posted a shutout against the Senators. Helps the Blues to a 4-0 win. A nice revenge game against the drubbing the Blues took in Ottawa. 8-1 was it? Early in the season.
Like hardest game to watch for the Blues in the first part of the season.
Yep. Saad had the natural hat trick, scoring goals 2, 3, and 4, I believe, in this one. Saad did not have a point in his previous 10 games, and in the 19 games prior, he just had 2 assists. So, step it up, Saad. Your trade value is on the line.
Right. Don't want to belabor too much on this, but I absolutely loved how he made Nick Jensen look terrible on his first goal. Like out hustled him.
Yeah.
And then they did stole the puck.
That's great.
Went down to one knee to get the leverage. And then did you see Strickland's interview with him where he asked him, how fast do you think we're going? Because they had it, and it was 21 miles per hour.
It's pretty fast for him, yeah.
Right. And he said 22, and he's like, oh no, 21. Thought that was great. But Saad had a great game. Again, showed that he probably got something to give to a team in a tough playoff series that the Blues probably aren't gonna see this year.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about that in a little bit, but I'm with you, sadly. Solid game though for the Blues.
Bennington. I've been craving a shutout for a while.
Oh, sure. Right? His third of the season, right? Mm-hmm. So solid game following another solid game versus the Blackhawks. And the Blue Jackets were next. So we're thinking, okay, this is a nice opportunity for the Blues to win 3 in a row. I mean, you're in Columbus, I get it, but and Columbus is about the same spot in the standings the Blues were. But you're playing well, coming off 2 good games, and you've got that chip on your shoulders. Like, hey, we haven't won 3 in a row yet. Let's go get it this time. Like this was their 7th chance to try and win 3 in a row this season, and they did not against Columbus. They lost 5-3, 6-4, wasn't it?
6-4, 2 games in a row.
Yeah,
with a score 6-4.
Jeff Ponder's got the wrong score in here. Not my fault.
Adding to the allegations that he's facing.
I'm Ron Burgundy. So I told you before the show, I watched this game at a bowling alley, so there's no volume, and I'm trying to bowl while I watch was like impossible, right? The way this third period panned out, it was 2-0 going in the third period, and I go up to bowl 1 ball and 2 goals have been scored. I'm like, well, shit, I'm missing all kinds of shit in this game. But Blue Jackets had a 3-goal lead 3 times in a third period in which 8 goals were scored in the third period. It sucks when you score 4 goals in the third period and lose. Kyrie had a goal and 2 assists. Shen, Fowler had a goal and assist each. Holloway had 2 assists. Parayko had a goal in his 700th NHL game. And Hofer was 33 for 38 and saves. Not the best game for him. And you can go off on Hofer if you'd like to. Go ahead.
He did not have a very good game whatsoever. He was off his angles the entire game. He was just, it didn't look confident whatsoever. And the first goal, I'm trying to remember that. It was Voronkov on the short side, and Shen tried to complain that there was some kind of interference, but it was just a shot that leaked through him, and Voronkov banged it in. Second goal was all Parayko's fault. I mean, Parayko trying to cut off the pass back to Voronkov. Voronkov was the best player on the ice in this game, right? A guy that I don't think I've said his name before tonight ever in my life. But he had a great game. He's having a great season for them, right? He and what's the other Russian?
Pull up the roster. I can't.
Yeah, they were so good in this game. But the pass from 96 or 86, trying to go to Voronkov backdoor.
Marchenko.
God. Right. All my preparation went out the window with all this TV talk that we did tonight. Marchenko trying to find Voronkov at the back door, and Parayko tries to block it, goes through. That's the one goal here tonight that I am not going to fault Hofer on. Everything else, he just did not look good on.
Him and Voronkov had 10 shots combined this game.
Yeah,
5 each.
They dominated play, right? To get dominated by these two young Russians who, let's face it, they're not going to win anything in Columbus, and in a couple of years will be good trade fodder, right? I will say Columbus, after what happened with Johnny Gaudreau in the offseason, like I was expecting Columbus to be like just come out and play flat hockey and like, holy shit, we lost the center of our universe. But they are Zach Werenski. Holy shit. Like he's best defenseman in the NHL this year. Right. They have a pretty decent team. It's just they're in such a competitive division conference. It's going to be tough for them to make playoffs. They had a really good game against the Blues. Joel Hofer had a pretty awful game. I really didn't like the second Voronkov goal where he got off his angle and Voronkov got puck and went backhand shelf. The Fantilli goal I thought was the backbreaker, partial breakaway. Who's the other guy? The breakaway that beat Saad, shorthanded goal for Columbus. Thought Hofer got too deep in his net too quick, gave up the far side. Thought the same thing on the Fantilli goal. Really didn't like Hofer's game. Would have preferred the Blues to go back to Bennington because of the shutout the night before. Yeah, but we don't do that anymore.
No.
So, not the night before, but 2 nights before.
Right. Well,
they're playing to a schedule, and I don't like it.
The Blues do have an opportunity to get revenge against Columbus in 3 days when they play them in St. Louis on the 11th.
Yeah. So hopefully, I guess we got to see because we get Anaheim tomorrow night, so got to see how that goes. And after last night, I don't know who you start, right? Because both goalies have had shit games.
I mean. It's Anaheim. I think it's a home game. You go Bennington. You have to. And if anything, it's a game where maybe let Bennington. Hopefully, this is a win and give Bennington some confidence. And I say you roll him again against Columbus because after Hofer's game against Columbus last time, you have to, right? I don't know. I at this point, I mean, unless it'd be different if Hofer were playing better. I mean, but. Because I've always been the guy is like whoever's playing the best, if it's not close, play the guy who's playing better.
Right. And that would have been Bennington going into Columbus, but they're not doing that. So
Well, no, Ottawa was the night before, so it was Friday and then Saturday.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Does that? I mean that.
That's right. That's right. Because
Yep.
I keep thinking the Ottawa game was Thursday night, so it was back to back.
It does make sense.
So it does make sense there. I don't know. I think you're right though. I think you go Bennington, and if Blues win, you go back to Bennington. But if Blues lose, give Hofer a chance for redemption against the team that just beat them.
Unless Montgomery says, you know what, Hofer got the last game against Columbus and didn't play well. We'll do Bennington against Columbus this time, and we'll go with Hofer against Anaheim. That'd be in every other start thing for the last 4 games. I can see that happening too. Whatever, Either way, we need better goaltending. The goaltending has not been good enough. I think the Blues, aside from the I think the Blues have played generally pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're missing goaltending right now.
Right.
And a couple of they'll make a couple of mistakes and bad mistakes in a game, and they'll end up in the back of the net, and they're not getting the big save to bail them out. And that's kind of been a trend recently. Like they'll play a really good game, a really good period, and then make a mistake and it ends up in the back of the net. And the offense was struggling for a while, so they were playing well but weren't scoring. But now they're scoring some goals recently, and so that's good. But none of the goaltending has gone to hell.
Right.
So
the giving up the quick goals after scoring a goal, right?
Early goals too, like on the first couple shots of the game.
Yeah. Go back to the Columbus game. The Fantilli goal was within 28 seconds, maybe. After the Blues cut the lead to 1. And
I think that's when I was
it's a backbreaker.
Yeah, 2 goals.
Yeah. It's a backbreaker kind of goal, right? And that's the thing. Like if the Blues were getting the goaltending that they got last year with the offense that they're getting this year, we would be in a solid playoff position.
Recently, the offense was bad earlier, but the offense is
the offense
clicking.
Post Montgomery.
Yes, right. You're right. So last night, coming off the Columbus game, I was annoyed. Right at that game, it was a Wild West kind of a.
Why can't we win in Columbus now? Right?
There's certain teams, Arizona, Columbus. So what the fuck? So the Wild beat the Blues 6-4 in a game the Blues should have won. And I say that the Wild are playing really well this season, and it was in Minnesota. In Minnesota, they only had they were coming in this game. There were 2 games over 500 at home, and they were 15-3-3 on the road, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're crazy good on the road, and at home they're fine. They're a couple of games over, and then the Blues came out, and the Blues outplayed Minnesota in this game, start to finish. But they didn't
get goaltending.
They didn't get goaltending. They made a couple mistakes, that ended up in the back of the net. And it just this was a game that so they won the 2 games prior to the Columbus game, so they had won 2 out of 3. If you're being an optimistic fan, they won 2 out of 3. Okay, 2 out of 3 last 3 games, and then if they win this one, that's 3 out of 4, and then you go into a stretch of games where you play Anaheim, Columbus again, Calgary twice, Utah, all games that the Blues could win. I mean, they're not. There's no world beaters in that group. So the Blues could win these games. There's 4 home games in those 5 games. So I'm like, this is the time the Blues should go on a run. They won 2 out of 3 coming into the Minnesota game. And if they can get that game in Minnesota, then that sets the table for winning 3 out of 4 coming into these 5 games. They win 4 out of 5. Then all of a sudden they've won I don't know what's the math, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 11, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Then they're on a roll, and they might be in a playoff spot after those 5 games if they rattle off 4 out of 5, depending on what the teams above them do. And they got down 2-0 against Minnesota. And it's that first goal was God damn it. So early in the game, the first shot of goal against looked like Bennington didn't see it clearly, or maybe he should have had it. I don't know. But he was strained.
Parayko,
he was strained.
Yeah, didn't give him a chance.
But the second goal,
fault him there.
No, I mean, not really. But the second goal is one that we should obviously want to talk about, because Bennington was ran into. He's outside the crease barely, right, by like a foot or so.
Mm-hmm. He was fully every every ounce of his being was outside of the crease.
Right.
There was nothing in the blue.
No, right. About like a foot. He wasn't like 10 feet out. He was at the top of the crease, outside the crease. He was out of it. Easily. No question. And then he gets run into. Whether you want to say that Parayko rode him in. Who was it that ran into him?
Zuccarello.
Zuccarello.
The smallest or second smallest player in the NHL.
Yeah. So, and Parayko's on him and is riding him, and I mean,
there's contact. He loses his stick.
There's contact. Yeah, with Bennington. Bennington loses his stick. Doesn't get his stick back until
focused too much on getting his stick back.
Well, while I was going to ask you about this because being a goalie, as far as like, when do you pick up that stick that's at your feet? Because as a fan watching, and if you don't play goal, you're like, pick it up. You can pick it up. The puck's in the corner, the puck's on the boards. You can pick it up. All right. Yeah. Or they're passing around. You can pick it up. But it takes more than a second to pick it up. Right. you got to, anyway, but it's just bad timing because he goes to pick it up right when the shot's being taken. And he never really got set. I mean, he did get set without his stick. So that was an interesting call for me because, he was run into. Okay. And so being a Blues fan, I'm looking at him like, well, okay, he didn't try to avoid contact. Now, Parayko was on him, kind of riding him with him, and you could argue where was Zuccarello going to go? He didn't know where to go, but he didn't try to avoid contact. So whatever Parayko did, Zuccarello still didn't try to avoid contact. So there's that. And then, so at what point does Bennington become set again after contact to make it so it's not goal interference? Because he lost his stick on the play. So it's like an interesting little twist. So do you blame him for not picking up his stick earlier? Or do you blame, because you know what I mean?
Right.
So at what point is the contact negated and he's set fully ready for the shot where the contact didn't affect him, didn't affect the goal going in?
Right. So he never recovers from the contact, right?
I agree.
And right. And so Baked Beaver, fellow Tendy, is much more upset about this than I am. Puck was in his glove, he says, right? So the original shot, the puck is in his glove when Zuccarello makes contact with him, right? And so the puck comes out of his glove, right? And this is where I would be fine with a rule, with a more of a no contact rule for goaltenders, right? If you make contact with the goalie, it doesn't have to be a penalty, but if you cause the puck to come out of, like, if it's in the glove,
stoppage,
and it comes out, it's a stoppage, right? It's not a penalty, it's a stoppage.
Well,
right?
obviously the official didn't probably see it.
Right.
I'm guessing that's what happened. I didn't know. I watched the replay a number of times. Didn't look to see if the puck was in his glove. I'll have to go do that.
Right. I don't think he had it closed. Right. It was in the webbing.
Okay.
And the contact happens and the puck comes loose.
Okay.
Right?
So if the puck's in his glove, it's not closed. How does the official judge that?
Right.
This is all
obviously
judgmental stuff.
Right. Obviously the official either missed it or didn't want to do it. Right. Or didn't want to call the play dead there because he saw the puck live. So where Bennington gets wrong is focusing on trying to get the stick back, right? The puck is too hot. It's moving around. It's too active, and you can't try to pick up the stick until your team has possession and gets a clear, right? And he tries to reach down after the first shot goes wide, and then it comes back, pinballs back around, and they get the pass back out to the slot. He's trying to pick up the puck when the shot's taken that goes in the net, right? And he's got to ignore the stick. It's tough to do because it's at your feet and you don't want to trip over it.
And he does ignore it for the longest time, but then as soon as he picks it up, that's when the shot comes.
Yeah.
Right. And he can't. I'm even more outraged now. I'm even more outraged now because I didn't even notice that the puck was in his glove, and it gets it gets jarred free
So
when he gets run into.
So
That's even worse.
Couple of things. Binnington should never expect a call. Go back to the Pittsburgh game 5-6 years ago.
Oh yeah,
where
right.
Clear goaltender interference and they didn't call it.
Right.
Go back to the last time, like to the big brouhaha with Minnesota. He's not going to get calls against Minnesota in Minnesota's barn, right? So don't expect it. Don't try to pick up the puck. Just try to play through it, and it's a shit thing, right? I would have preferred that they blow the play dead and just say, look, incidental contact gives Minnesota an unfair advantage here. We're calling it dead. We're not calling a penalty, right? I think that if you can disallow a goal because of that, you should be able to stop play because of that.
And this is, and I love Big Beaver's analogy here. The puck was in Binnington's glove. He gets taken out like a 90s catcher at home plate. And he really did.
Yeah.
And he's of the opinion that I had as well, that Zuccarello wasn't, additionally, Zuck wasn't touched. He had time to move. So,
yeah.
but and I just watched it again a few times, and I'm like, yes, the puck was in his glove, and I'm like, but it wasn't close. He had the, I don't know if he knew he didn't think he had it in his glove, but it was he had it, and he goes slammed into right away, and it's like fuck. And Montgomery's pissed, Shen's pissed from a commercial break, arguing with the official, and rightfully so. The Blues got fucked here. I mean, I think that's. I'm really, honestly, to God, not trying to be a homer here. I mean, what do I have to gain here? They lost the game anyway. Was it? I mean, it was by 2, right. But it's like, I don't even. I have no problem saying that. If Binnington was in the wrong, he's in the wrong. I don't have a horse. He's not my relative. I don't I'm not married to the guy. I'd say if he made a mistake, he makes a mistake. We call out bad plays by the Blues all the time on this show, and we call them as we see them, and man, we got fucking hosed on this play.
So what I didn't like is how he looked after this, right? It was, I like the Blues response. I like the fact that that this was the goal that put them up 2-0, and then we came back and had a 4-2 lead in this game.
Yeah, yes, and this goal shouldn't have mattered, because we were up 4-2 after this play happened eventually.
Right.
Midway through the game.
So I think this play should matter. This should be the play that sparked the Blues to say, hey, boys, we got to go get this for our goalie. He just got fucked.
Good point. Yes.
But then I also think that Binnington has to bear down and make a couple of saves that he didn't make.
Yeah. No, I agree. So after this goal, the Blues did get some chances. They were pissed off, whatever, about the lack of a call. They didn't get any high danger stuff for a while. They were getting some shots, but it was from the outside, nothing in tight. Minnesota was doing a good job to keep them off away from the slot area. But Blues had a 2-on-1, Kyrou and Shen. Kyrou's pass off the mark to Shen. I was pissed off. I'm like, oh my God. Taylor made 2-on-1 and you fuck up the pass. But Buchnevich scores a few seconds after, right, from Holloway. A pass across, one-timer, a huge goal at this point. Blues are playing better. They're inspired from the being pissed off about the no call against Binnington, whatever. Had to score the next goal in this game. Couldn't go down 3-0. And they did. And then the Wild had a 2-on-0.
Right. And this, right. So I think the 2-on-0 was right before this, because it was Buchnevich. It was Rossi that pulled Buchnevich's stick, and Middleton got the 2-on-0 breakaway, and Binnington made the save, and then Buchnevich got his revenge by scoring that goal. That's how I recall it.
Was it? I thought I think maybe. I mean, I was taking notes during the game, and chronologically in my list it comes after, but maybe I got
that's how I had it.
Okay.
I didn't take notes, so I'll defer to you.
Well, I mean,
it's a better narrative.
I'm not. It really is. It sounds better. We'll go with yours. Either way, so the 2-on-0 the Wild got was because of was it Thomas's stick, right? Was held? Was it Buchnevich's stick?
It was
Thomas.
Buchnevich.
Okay.
Buchnevich.
Buchnevich's stick was held. Couldn't
By
get back into
Rossi.
play. Yeah,
Right.
he just felt he just chicken winged his arm down right on the
And
stick.
if you
and
watch
fell
the
down.
Wild broadcast, they're calling for a penalty on Buchnevich,
Yeah,
but it's totally Rossi.
Fuck those guys. I just you know what, Homer broadcast is bullshit. So and I'm yelling at the TV. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, are there any officials in this game? Because they're not calling shit. You know,
Right.
You got the Binnington thing that they didn't call, and you got the blatant holding of the stick. I mean, it was ridiculous. Led to a 2-on-0, and thankfully, nice save, right? On Binnington.
Right. It was that was a stellar save.
Yeah.
By Binnington. Although it's Middleton, and you should make every save on Middleton.
Either way,
which he didn't do.
Either way. When they came back from commercial break, they showed Thomas at the bench looking at the tablet to see the replay of the holding the stick, and you can see that Buchnevich is on the bench making the chicken wing motion, right? That he clamped his arm down on his stick, and Thomas gives the official a look like after the stoppage, and he gave him a wide-eyed look like, Jesus Christ, dude, you missed a big one. That was an obvious hold. It was like a half smirk, like big eyes, like, dude, that was bad.
Yeah.
Said
it without saying it.
Right, exactly. And then I think Gustafsson made a really nice, great pad save in tight. 2:45 left in the first period. I forgot who it was that the Blues had there in that chance. It was a nice little stick handle backhand chance to stick on the pad. Good finish to the period by the Blues after getting hosed early and being down 2-0. I think they played really well after that second goal. And Faber, who plays about 25 minutes a game for the Wild, left the game with the 7 minutes to go in the period, didn't return the rest of the game. So this was another plus for the Blues. So Kaprizov didn't play in this game, which I didn't mention. And then Kaprizov, whatever.
Right. So
Kaprizov. And not a Faber. So they're missing.
Right.
They're
and Spurgeon, right?
Arguably the best defenseman and one of the best forwards in the NHL are not playing. So the Blues are playing well. They're down 2-1, but they're playing well. So the stage is set for a nice second period for the Blues to come back in this game, and they did. But early on, Minnesota hits the post, which I thought was like, and the Blues hit the post, and it kind of walked the line for about a foot or two.
Yeah,
and then it was cleared off the line, super close.
Eriksson Ek, right?
I think yes, Eriksson Ek. And then miraculously,
really
there are officials in this game. The Blues got a power play after Kyrou was tripped. And then quick goal, just a few seconds into the power play. Neighbors with the screen, great shot. Put it on net, screen, put it on net. Never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Gustafsson looked bad on that. Right?
Yeah.
He didn't anticipate it. It was a screen.
It was a screen.
Great shot by Kyrou. Put it on the ice, through a screen. Yeah.
Yep. And then the Kyrou's goal came at 1:24 into the second. And then just over a minute and a half later, Neighbors scores. Great passing on the Neighbors goal. And we talked about this before the show. Tucker and Sundqvist acting like McDavid and Draisaitl on this. Great outlet pass by Tucker. You said you compared it to Pronger's outlet pass as
one step from behind the net.
Out to the red line. Right.
Yeah.
It was like, holy shit. Great pass. And then Sundqvist, everyone in the building thought he was going to shoot, and then he passes over to Neighbors, who goes top shelf. Pretty goal. Goal. And then all of a sudden,
Bolduc with a nice little quick dish to Sundqvist, and Sundqvist made the nice play, the right play to Neighbors, wide open net, and he buried it.
And all of a sudden, the Blues have scored 3 unanswered, and they lead 3-2. So you're thinking, this is great. This is fantastic. They have exercised the demons from the earliest in this game. We're down 2-0. They have come back and stormed back and made it 3-2. And then Thomas scores not even 2 minutes later.
Right.
Fourth goal unanswered in short span. A couple block shots, loose puck in the skates that Minnesota couldn't corral. Sutter to Thomas come out from behind the net, who sneaks it by Gustafsson. Was it near post, I believe?
Yeah, it was near post, under the blocker.
Yeah.
Terrible goal by Gustafsson.
Oh, yeah.
If it were a snipe, upper corner, maybe Gustafsson stays in the game.
Yeah.
But no, after that, 4 goals in 3 minutes and 20 seconds, something like that.
The first goal came at 13:26 of the first, but they have 3 goals within 3:09.
Yeah. So
3 goals in the second period. Yeah.
Right. So you're getting the hook.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it coming, right? So,
Right. You saw it coming. Bad news for the Blues.
yeah,
Marc-Andre Fleury
I
is
know.
coming in, and he is Jordan Binnington's kryptonite.
And the Blues had dominated this period. They dominated the last part of the first, or second half of the first period, and then the start of the second, they were all over Minnesota.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a couple of fluky goals. It was the Blues were pressuring too. They earned those goals, whether or not the Gustafsson should have had some or not. But and then Fleury comes in and Eriksson Ek scores a few minutes, 5 minutes later. So make it 3-4. I thought Parayko should have sold out and went down to block this shot. He was in no man's land. He'd go down to block it. Don't stand there.
Terrible game. Parayko was the worst player on the ice.
He was
by the visual test and by the advanced metrics, right?
According to advanced stats at Hockey Stat Cards, Parayko was the worst Blues player on the ice. Middleton actually
was the best and worst.
Right.
His offensive numbers, right?
His offense was pretty good, not quite the best. It was like fifth or so, but his defense was by far the worst.
Yeah.
And Parayko was bad in the
So Binnington giving up the Eriksson Ek goal, I think it's not entirely his fault, like you were saying. Parayko could have done more, could have sold out and taken it away. The next goal, the Middleton goal, that's unforgivable, right? That is one that Binnington has to make the save on. I like that. To me, at that point, I'm like, the Marc-Andre Fleury effect is real, right? He came into this game and sapped all of the goalie energy and took it for himself.
And third period. Yeah, that goal happened. Yeah, because we had the lead. We had the lead going into the third. Right. And the Blues had only lost one time this season in regulation when they had the lead going into the third period. Now it's 2.
Yeah.
Before we get to the third period, though, I want to just mention that Gaudreau shoots the puck into the net after the offsides was called, and the Blues took exception to that, and rightfully so. Dick move. I hate Minnesota. Hate them. Hartman can't stand the fucker. And then this stupid Bush League thing, shooting the puck in the net. What do you get? And then and they mentioned on the broadcast that if this happened 25 years ago, there'd be a brawl for shooting the puck into the goal. After, and I don't think non-hockey fans quite understand why that is an issue, because in soccer that happens often, was it not? I mean, I've seen it happen before where nobody cares. You put the ball in the goal after a offside or whatever. It's like,
well, offside in soccer usually has to be determined by VAR
but what I mean is that sometimes they'll kick it in and nobody seems to care.
Yeah,
nobody gets upset. I've seen it happen before. I'm like, I as a hockey fan, I'm like, I see it happen in soccer. I'm like, he put the ball. Nobody cares that he kicked the ball in the goal after the play was over.
It's a weird culture thing for hockey.
No, and it is, and I like it. I like it actually. It's like, it's the goalie's cage. No pucks go in here. Goalies are weird about it even after warmups, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want anybody shooting the puck down the ice while they're out there. To see it happen. After they step off the ice, they don't want people shooting down the puck down and they go into the goal after like the pregame and the warmups before the game starts, before they clean the ice. But third period, I didn't like this play from Thomas in the corner. I thought he was weak on the puck. Middleton ties the game. I wouldn't call it a Thomas turnover, but it was off his stick. I didn't think he played it very well. I thought Binnington was off Binnington off his angle here? I thought he was.
Yeah.
It was a bad goal.
He definitely was. I just trying to think through, right? Because Middleton's the one that had the breakaway and he tried to go blocker side. And I don't know if Binnington's psyching himself out thinking he's not going to go back blocker side, but he did. And that shit-eating grin that Middleton had on his face after scoring that goal just pissed me the fuck off. But that was the first one I said Binnington's got to have that. He's got to make that save.
Yeah, I just watched it again, and Thomas was worse on the puck than I remember. He had it. He fucking our best puck manager puck handler on the team has the puck in the corner Let's see. He's got it right here. There's nobody within, I don't know, 12 feet of him. And then he decides to cut. I don't know what he does. He just tried to make a move on the boards, just lost it. And the pass comes over to Middleton and he scores. It's like that was a direct. I mean, yeah, Bennington should have had his off his angle, but that was a clusterfuck of errors here. It was just, Thomas in the corner just fucked up. Turned it over, boom, score, goal.
Right. And we talked about, how the Blues kind of stepped up after Bennington got fucked over in the first period. Bennington's got to step up when his team fucks up, right? And so that goal, right, is to give Minnesota, the tie, right? That's just, but the next goal.
Oh my God.
What the fuck, Bennington?
You don't like Bennington in this goal? The broken stick?
No.
That's because the game's tied right now. And the game-winning goal is Boldy's.
So it is the game-winning goal. So wait, I'm trying to think. What the Eriksson Ek goal was where
that was the
Bennington. I did not like Bennington on that play because
that was the
way, like, he was completely not set and it went 5-hole on him. Right, that was actually probably the goal that I had the biggest problem with Bennington giving up, because he looks all kinds of crossed up.
Yeah,
giving that much 5-hole, like, it looked like his equipment got tangled. He looked like me, a shit amateur goalie.
He shoots it from the faceoff dot, and again, I don't know what Parayko's doing here. He's actually, Parayko's not even in the shooting lane, so whatever. It's from the face-off dot, and Bennington sees it the whole way, and I don't think it went off Parayko.
No,
and there's nobody backdoor. So the Wild player got tied up. I don't know if Bennington saw that, but there was nobody backdoor. There are 3 Blues back. There's nobody backdoor for a pass, so it's just the shooter on Bennington from the face-off dot, and Parayko's not even in the shooting lane, and it just goes in unless it went off Parayko. I can't love it great over that. It's a bad goal. That's that
was the one I was going to bitch about most, and I got it out of order. My apologies.
No,
so the game-winning goal, fuck, right? And this again, going back to the Blues need a goalie to bail the team out at some point this season, and Bennington had a couple opportunities, the Thomas turnover on the Middleton goal, and then this.
This is the kind of thing that happened a lot before the Blues won the cup. In games that, close games, tie games, third period, this kind of shit would happen for decades, like every so often. Like in a big game, like against Detroit, some bullshit thing like this would happen in a big game late in the season against Detroit. And then, so if you didn't catch it, Philip
Broberg
has the puck at center, goes to pass, normal play, goes to pass to Falk on the near boards, and as he puts some weight on the stick to pass it just a little bit, snaps in half, and the puck just trickles away from him, and then Minnesota, boop, the other way. They have 2 players, 2-on-1, and of course, the only player back, because Broberg was the last guy back when he made the pass, has no stick. So it's 2-on-0 with no stick. And and kudos to Minnesota. They passed it early before Broberg could go down and make the pass. Because if he waits a half stride more to pass this puck, I think Broberg takes away the pass because he goes down. He goes down early, which I guess was good, but it wasn't early enough. And then the slap shot comes from pretty far out, but it was a good shot. Credit Minnesota for taking advantage of this play and executing well, but fuck me if this wasn't the worst fucking luck ever.
It was, but I think it was Wes Walls that was doing the color commentary for the Wild last night. Maybe it was Mark Parrish. I couldn't tell, but he called out Bennington because he said everybody in the building knew, apart from Broberg and Bennington, that Zuccarello was going to make that pass, and he should have read it. And I agree. I agree.
Okay.
He should have totally read that pass, He was a half step slow. If he makes the push when Zuccarello does the look to get him to bite on the pass, if he reads that as what it is, he makes the save. It's really a 50-50 guess at that point, but yeah, shit luck at this point. The negativity is starting to sink in on this team at this point in the last 2 games, right? Nothing's going right for him. So why would he make the right read?
I'll say this though.
It goes in.
I'll say this about it. It was a quick pass. It was he stops striding and he like gives Bennington the stare down.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and then that's when Broberg starts to go down. So I guess Broberg knew it was coming, or was I got to bail out here. I got to try and take out the pass. And it was a quick pass, and man, it misses Broberg's glove by 6 inches. Not much at all. And yeah, I mean, he's a little slow to react. I get it. Bennington is, but I mean, you pass across as a one-timer, you get the goalie moving. This is what happens. You get the goalie moving, his holes, and it was a good shot. It wasn't like back in the middle of the goal, like not Bergeron, like what's his in the? Why am I forgetting his name?
Marchand,
like Marchand in the final game 7, shot it back into Bennington as he slides across. So that didn't happen. I don't know. I mean, I get it. He is slow to react, but it's still, it was a nice play by Minnesota. I'm not going to, it was the whole fucking thing doesn't happen if the fucking stick doesn't break. It's
right.
Bad
and Beaver points out it happened again, right? 2 shifts later, Broberg goes to make another pass and the stick breaks. Luckily at that point they were in the offensive zone,
right?
And it was less impactful, but
it was on a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, what the what's going on? Fleury had a 1990s windmill glove save on Holloway. Jesus,
and to tie it.
Yeah,
right.
that was when he makes that save. I'm thinking, God, that was the one, man. That
was the one, and he showed us, didn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And Holloway, the windmill pissed me off.
It was one.
I love Fleury, but that pissed me off.
It was one of those goals where Fleury goes down with his glove. You know the style. You kind of make the motion. You go down with the gloves on top of the pad. You're kicking the pad out, and it hits the glove, right? And then you just keep going.
You
with the glove
follow
up.
through.
You windmill it. Yeah.
Patrick Waugh on Thomas Sandstrom, 1986, Madison Square Garden. That's it. It's happened every time since then.
It goes in his glove when his arm's not moving up, but then somehow the windmill happens.
It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. It's going to be on every highlight reel for the rest of the season.
Gets the fans going, pisses off the Blues, or well, it could get slumped shoulders right from the Blues.
Right.
Yeah, and then 3:20 left. The Blues pull Bennington. I thought it was a hair early, but it wasn't. They had pressure for a while.
Right. And Minnesota had what, 3 icings before they scored?
Yeah, they were tired. There were guys who were on the ice for over 2 minutes. They were exhausted, and I felt like a goal was coming because the Blues had pressure, but they didn't get. I don't think they had a shot on net, did they? They
got pushed to the outside.
They pushed outside. They had zone time. They had some good looks. Some shots got blocked. Some shots went wide. Too many shots went wide.
Yeah.
In the second
Thomas
half of the third period,
right, couldn't get organized on the left side.
Second half of that third period, too many shots wide.
Yeah.
And whether Minnesota took away the angle where they had to shoot wide, whatever. I mean, maybe, but either way, pucks are going wide, and it just didn't. They didn't. I don't think they tested. I mean, well, Holloway did, and there was that one flutter. That one was it a block shot or went off Fleury and it kind of arched up over the goal a little bit. Thought for a second it might come down in front, but it didn't.
There were opportunities.
Yeah, and then
Johansson wasn't meant to be.
No, and then Johansson gets the internet goal. Blues lose 6-4 for the second straight game. This game fucking stung. 4-2 lead in the second period. After being down 2-0, you come back, you rally, you got to hold on to that thing. The Blues had a chance too to go 5-2. And I think that was that nice pad save that Fleury had. I forgot what the situation was, but they came close to making it 5-2. And I thought, man, that better not come back to bite them. Not because if they go by 3, I mean, up by 5-2 in the third period, game's almost over. I mean, essentially. I mean, you got to think the game's almost over. But yeah, and as I mentioned before the game started, having won 2 out of 3, you win this one, you got some winnable games after this. It would have been so nice. And you need to win games. You need to get some points because you got other teams have games in hand on you that you're chasing. You only out of the playoffs by, was it 2 points at the time? I think 2 or 3. And then, but they've played 2 or 3 less games than the teams ahead of them. So they got to win these games, and you can't be blowing 4-2 leads. And leads going into the third period in a team you're chasing. You're probably not going to catch Minnesota, but I'm just saying that this is a game you should have won.
Right.
You played a good game.
Can't do it.
Mostly. The Blues mostly played a really good game, I thought, for the most part. There were some mistakes we talked about. Didn't get the goaltending, though. Made a couple mistakes, and they ended up in the back of the net. And that I think the Blues are very close. They're very close to being a solid playoff team. They're like that, like I said before in the show, that second line center. They're that one piece from being a good playoff team. And they just don't quite have it. They'll play well in a game, but a couple mistakes end up in the net. They don't get the goaltending, and they come short. And it's like they're just missing just a little bit to bring it all together and play a little more consistently. I don't know. I mean, they can make the playoffs this season, but they got to go on a run. And if you can't win 3 in a row, you're not going to make the playoffs.
Right. And that's the narrative, right? Instead of 3 out of 4, you're now win 2, lose 2, right? And that's what this team's identity is right now. You win 2, lose 2. So tomorrow night, we're going to win. Saturday night, we're going to beat Columbus. And then next week, we're going to drop 2 to Calgary. That's how it's going to go.
I think for me to so this Minnesota game, it was like a pivotal point for me. And I think maybe a lot of fans were the same way. I know that they were talking about the same thing on the radio today. And I was like, I was thinking the same thing last night, that this was a pivotal game, because if they had won this game, I'm like feeling really good about the playoffs, making it, because they've won 3 out of 4. They got a stretch of games and they're playing well. They beat a good team in Minnesota, and they got some winnable games coming up. They're on the verge of winning 7 of 9 or something like that. And I'd be pretty optimistic about the playoffs. But losing this game, especially the way they did, now I'm on the other side of the fence. I'm like, man, it's like they just don't have it. It's weird how one game, like almost the exact halfway point through the season, does that. It's like it's such a big game, and they're gonna look back on the game in Columbus and this game, a team in Columbus that if you're a playoff team you should beat, and a game in Minnesota you had a 4-2 lead. You need to win that game, hold on to win it. And if they lose them both 6-4, and if they don't make the playoffs and miss by a few points like the last year, they're gonna look at these 2 games and say, this is where it started to fall apart. This was the turning point in the season when they could have used this to catapult their playoff path, but they didn't do it. They fell short, and they lost 2 of the games should have won.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything you just said. Right, we're getting to the meat of the season. I'm looking up to see how many games do we have left before the break.
The deserved to win meter, by the way, on Money Puck, said the Blues should have won that game. 55.4% to 44.7. The advanced stats say the Blues win that game 55% of the time after 1,000 simulations. So they deserve to win that game. Barely.
Yeah, I mean that game, the last 2 games felt like games they should have won. I wonder what the Money Puck said about Columbus.
Columbus
did, I think, probably outplayed us.
Let's take a look. I didn't get that. It's weird when you watch a game that's muted at a bowling alley. Oh, it's close. Oh, it's so close. And it is going to be the Blues by about the same percentage, 54.8 to 45.2. Money Puck says the Blues should have won that game too. Interesting.
Yeah. So we have a month until we get to the mid-season break. Just over a month. So that will be beginning on Wednesday, February 12th. So the season will break February 9th. So we are 1 month away from the mid-season break. The Blues need to find, before getting to those last 4 games, the last 3 games going into this, they need to put 3 games together. They need to string wins together before we get to that point. Because if you go into that, and let's say you go into the last game and you just won your 3rd in a row, now you're off for a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh, right.
Right? You can't be in that position to lose that momentum.
Big Beaver says 4 nights at home, then on the road to Utah. We should do well based on what I've been watching. Yeah, they should. But you could always turn in a game like you did against Columbus, where you play apparently well enough to win, but you don't. And in Minnesota, you play well enough to win, but you don't. And in the end, we've talked about this a lot on the show. Hockey is a game of mistakes, right? Mistakes happen all the time. It's just a matter of your team being able to take advantage of more mistakes than the other team, for the most part, generally speaking. So, get the goaltending. I don't want to be one of those fans that says, "Wow, you lose, you blame the goalie." If we had good goaltending the past 2 games, we win these 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of the other stuff that happened, it doesn't matter. If we get solid goaltending in the last 2 games, we get these 2 games. And what's the standings right now? Standings are, do I have them up right now? I do. Let's see. Let's do wild card standings. So if we'd have 4 more points, we have 27. We would be tied with the Kings. Tied with the Kings for the last playoff spot. I'm sorry. No, we'd be the first wild card team right now.
Yeah.
With 1 more game played than Colorado. We'd be ahead of Colorado in the standings if we had won these last 2 games and we'd have 1 more game played. How fucking that?
We're right there.
We are right there. They got to get.
They have to put more than 2 games together, right?
More than 2 games together. They're closer than I thought.
And the entire
fucking these last 2 games pissed me off. The one in Columbus I didn't get to watch closely, but the one in Minnesota, God, that I told Amy after the game was over. I texted her. I said I have not been this pissed off after a Blues loss in a long time, because that game, it felt like a must win to me. Just how the last Columbus game went. And we didn't get to win 3 in a row with the Columbus game. And with the games coming up, this was a division game against Minnesota, a team. It's a rival. It's a team we don't like. And we need wins, and we're chasing teams, and we had a lead and we lost it in a game that we played well enough to win. We just fucked it up. And I haven't been this pissed in a long time. This is the most pissed I've been after a loss this season for me. So, but and so they got to get together soon. You can't. 24 games played, right?
So
hold on, wait a second.
Wait.
Am I not? Is this old?
No. So we would have been, if we would have won the last 2 games, right? So we would have 4 points more. We would have 46 points. We'd still be 5 points behind Colorado.
No, I've got. Wait a second. Hold on a second.
Colorado's at 51.
Yeah. Why am my standings is? Oh, God damn it! Sorry, guys. I've got a weird date. I've got a date on the standings for some reason. I pulled up this tab from another day, and it kept the same date, even though I refreshed it. Okay, way off. I'm like, that doesn't sound right to me.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah. So we'd be tied with Vancouver for the second wild card spot. My bad. That was weird. I refreshed the page,
and Vancouver's becoming a tire fire. So
I was only like 20 points off from the standings. Yeah. So either way, we'd be in a wild card. We'd be in a playoff spot. Well, Vancouver would have the edge because we'd have more wins, but they'd have less. They had fewer games. They'd have 2 fewer games played, so they'd have the edge, right? So, yeah. Now Vancouver's struggling right now. They're 2-3-5 in the last 10.
Yeah. There's chatter that the locker room is broke, and one or both of JT Miller and Elias Pettersson are going to be moved by the trade deadline.
Ooh, wow.
So
So you have to beat Utah coming up because they are 1 point behind us and they've played 3 less games.
They are about to lose tonight.
Okay, good.
Florida's up 3-1 with minute 14 to go.
And you have to beat. You cannot lose to a team that's right behind you in the standings. You just can't. And that's in Utah though.
Yeah, and
either way.
Really, the big thing, the back-to-back Calgary here next week.
Yes. Again, the team you're chasing.
Right. Got to get at least 3 points out of that.
Yeah. I would say I'm greedy. Yeah, I win both.
You have to. You should win all 4 points, but get at least 3.
Should is interesting. I mean, they're pretty much the same record almost. It's just, Calgary's a little better, but it'd be nice to win. You win that first one, punch them in the mouth, and then just take it to them in the second one. I don't know. It's with this one game at a time bullshit. I want to look ahead so far and group games together and Vancouver's falling apart. So you'd like to think the Blues can pass them after a handful of games, maybe. But Calgary's the one. Calgary's the team you got to pass. I'm not overly concerned about Vancouver. Calgary is the one I'm like, we got to catch them and hold off Utah.
Yeah, well, Utah just went down 4.
Good.
4-1. Losterainen gets the goal. All of a sudden, Nosferatu. Losterainen gets the goal. 21.9 to go.
Nosferatu. And they got a revenge game against Columbus coming up in a few days. So that's a big one too. And Columbus is actually in the second wildcard spot right now in the East.
Like I said, I am surprised and proud of how well Columbus has played after losing Goodrow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, we'll see how it goes. It's so then this is going to happen. We'll get 3 games in before the next show.
So there's a chance that we could be excited or super pissed.
It's going to be that point of the season where we're entering a stretch of games where if we don't come out well ahead in these next 5 games, if we just tread water these 5 games, that's rough. You gotta 10 points available. You gotta get at least 7. I'm thinking. So you go what? I'm sorry. 5 games, 10 points. You go 3-1-1, maybe, and you get 7 points. That's the minimum I think you have to do.
Yeah, I would agree with that, right? And that's they have to break the trend, right? They haven't been able to do 3 in a row, right?
But the thing is that you want to get as many points as you can because you got Vegas twice, you got Dallas, and then you got Vancouver. Mm-hmm. That's a big game too at the end to close in the 27th, and then Colorado. So you got some tough games coming up. And when's the break? February. Okay, the middle of February.
February 9th.
And you got Utah again. That's another big game. Then Edmonton, Florida. Back-to-back tough games. And then Chicago before the break. And then Winnipeg, tough game. Colorado. Tough games come out of the break. Winnipeg, Colorado, Seattle, Washington. Now we're going too far.
Yes, Seattle is in Washington. Oh, wait.
Seattle, Washington. So yeah, I mean, it's fun to look ahead and think what you got to do, but I mean, in short, they just gotta. I'd be happy with the team playing the way they have played, and for us to get better goaltending. Just play better in that. Just make a couple of stop the shots you should. I don't know. That sounds stupid. It's just like that's been a problem. The goaltending is not as good as it needs to be. In a short.
No, it hasn't. Like I said earlier in the show, think about where we would be if we had last year's goaltending with this year's offense.
Yeah,
we would be in a much better position. So, no save of the week this week because you don't get one when you give up 10 goals in 2 games, boys.
12.
So,
well, Empty net goals. Okay.
Empty net goals. I'm discounting.
Gotcha.
Goalies gave up 10 goals. Be better, Hofer and Binner, and you'll get a save of the week next week.
So upcoming up, we talked about it. Anaheim, Columbus, Calgary on the 9th, 11th, 14th, and 16th. So go get them, boys. Home games. You gotta win these 4, and then you win my confidence. You get 7 out of the 8 points here. You get my confidence. If you lose 2 of these games, that's horrible. You can't go 2-2 against these two teams. You can't. You got to win at least 7 of 8 points. At least 3 or 4. Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. Ovechkin scored goal number 872 on Saturday. Only 23 goals away from Gretzky's record. So he's going to do it if he doesn't shatter a femur.
Or a hip.
Or something that ends his career. Oh, God, how awful would that be? Get this close and he does something like a career-ending knee injury. Oh,
God, wouldn't that be?
Yikes.
That'd be a bitch.
I mean, he's getting old. He's more susceptible. He was already hurt this year, which was a knee thing, right? It could have been bad. It could have been worse than it was.
Yeah, but hey, I kind of want to see him do it now.
You know what? Yeah, I do too.
For as long as we've heard Gretzky's records are untouchable, I'd like to see him get touched.
His points record seems untouchable. So I mean that's just ungodly high.
Right, and that one should stick. Right?
Yeah, you would think, unless the game has to completely change for that record over the span of like 15, 20 years. For that record to be in jeopardy, and you have to have it. So the game has to change to where goals are going a lot. The game has to change to where offense is like through the roof, and you have to have a generational talent playing out of his mind during that era. So it's like a perfect storm that has to happen just for somebody to even maybe be in the conversation of someday breaking his record, right? It's just I don't know. I mean, you got to average 2 or 3 points a game for your career or something stupid. So they announced the Winter Classics game for next year and the Stadium Series, both in Florida.
Yeah,
2026. So the Winter Classic is in Miami, and the Stadium Series is going to be in Tampa. The Winter Classic will feature Florida and the Rangers. And the Stadium Series will be Tampa Bay against Boston.
Ooh, big surprises there.
Yeah. Although Florida has not been in one, correct?
No, Florida hasn't.
Has Tampa?
Tampa has.
They were?
Tampa was in at least a Stadium Series game, I think, against Nashville.
Okay.
And yeah, but Florida has not been, and it's going to be the southernmost ever Winter Classic, right? That Miami's further south than Dallas, so
right.
It's it was going to happen sometime. Why not next year?
I guess. I mean, I just hope they don't do anything stupid for the skills competition, like they did. Where was
the All-Star game? It was the All-Star game when they did the skills competition,
right?
And
2 years ago,
they took the kids out to Doral to do hockey shots onto the
surfboard
green.
Well, and they did the surfboard thing on the beach.
Yeah,
it was so stupid.
That was the All-Star game in Miami.
Yeah, that was dumb. And the thing that was at least semi-interesting was they were shooting at cards on a
St.
grid.
Louis. Yeah.
No. It was
Vegas. That was
Vegas. Yeah, Vegas.
Yeah.
That was somewhat interesting, but then they fucked it up because they had to, I don't know,
they ran
out of time, or the way the game worked out, it wasn't like, oh, we have to like figure it out as we go or something. It was dumb.
We didn't think this through.
Kind of. I forgot what happened exactly. I remember thinking, wow, they it's not working. This game there's a flaw in this game. But anyway, and the Blues, I don't think the Blues are going to be one for quite a while.
No,
just because they've had 3, and that was my thought going into the Winter Classic game this year. I was like, you can't lose this game. You can't lose the Hawks in Chicago, and probably the last Winter Classic game for a long, long time. You can't lose it. You got to go 3-0. 3-0 sounds so much better than 2-1. And you can't let the Hawks be 1-1 against you in the Winter Classic. You take both games. You're a better team than the Hawks are. Just win the game.
Jeff and I talked about it a little bit on the Winter Classic preview show. That I think the Blues' best bet would be in a stadium series, and that would be if the NHL and MLS start collaborating to play in some of the soccer parks, which I think would make for some really good watching.
Right, because those parks aren't as big.
Right.
And they're closer to the action.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, a game in
City Park.
Well, it's not City Park anymore. What is it now? It's sponsored.
It's
I forgot. Either way, that would be nice. I'd like to see a game in there.
Is it Energizer?
Yeah, I think it is.
Energizer Stadium.
Yeah.
I should know that. They're 2 blocks from my office. I drive past City Field Energizer Stadium every day when I go into the office. So
that'd be the MLS. Why don't they do that? That's those stadiums are more cozy.
Yeah,
I like that.
Much more suited than baseball stadiums.
Yeah, they hold. What does City Park hold? Energizer Park hold
20,000, 22,000.
So it's about like an NHL arena. Yeah. So that's it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
They should employ us.
They really should,
right?
As advisors,
right? We've had a couple of really good ideas here tonight.
Just pay me $50,000 a year. I'll be an advisor on call. That's all I need. Not much. They'll never
with
miss
all your other side gigs.
You're right. I'll make time.
Yeah.
That about does it for this show, Bill. We went a little longer than we usually do when you and I
had a lot of pent up energy that you needed to spend given your
That's true.
hiatus.
My missed the last 2 weeks. The allegations are all settled though, but more maybe coming. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I don't know. It's tied up in courts right now. We'll see when it comes to fruition. Any other chat talk here? We got
Big Beaver just says he doesn't want to see Gretzky get touched.
I don't want. Yeah, that's goes back
in response to my comment.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. When y'all back, Beaver, we are probably Wednesday, right? There's no game on Wednesday
tonight. Yep.
Next Wednesday we'll be back on.
Shit, we need to wrap up. Ponder's starting to look. He's gonna come on, and one more thing, we'll be going until 2:00.
All right. That'll wrap up episode 15 of season 14 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you for Bill Day. I'm Kurt Price. Jeff Bonder. Sorry we couldn't get to you. We'll get to you next time. It's the old Jimmy Kimmel and Ben Affleck. Not Ben Affleck. Thing. The line. You ever watch Kimmel show where he always says he can't get to Ben? Damn it, Ben Affleck's. I'm like drawing a blank on names tonight. Ben Affleck's buddy.
Matt Damon.
Sorry we couldn't get to Matt Damon. Yeah, he does it every show at the end.
Yeah.
Until next time, everyone. Let's go Blue. Win 3 in a row for fuck's sake.
Fuck's sake. It's fucking embarrassing. Let's go.
A Mark Goodson television production.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
I found prints! No, fingerprints. I don't think so.
Kmart is more than any store. You have no friendly and warm, and service does not take long. One visit and you will